It's time to stitch the We All Scream banner on our 2 Scoops bench pillow. We All Scream is on page 37. I have the background fabric backed with fusible interfacing, and I have the batting. This also uses the pink felt from the embellishment packet. So let's stitch out this cute banner. I will go to Embroidery and to my USB. And I did not combine these files in software, so I will first open the quilting bundle folder and choose Food 5, block by block, and then I need the 4x6 design. I will hit set. Now I will go to Add, back to my USB, and to the Embroidery Files folder, and I will find the We All Scream block. And hit set and embroidery. I am using my 5x7 hoop, so I need to go to my settings and change to my 5x7 and select OK. And that puts it right into the center of the hoop with no room to really move it. So even though I have my stabilizer coming off to the top of my hoop, I don't need to worry about moving it. So I will select OK. And then I always like to go to this minus plus needle. I will stitch out the placement for the batting, and I will place the batting and the fabric, and then I'll come back and skip a few steps. So the second step is the tack down of the batting, and I cut my batting to size, so I am going to skip this step by selecting the down arrow. The next step is the placement of the fabric, and I have already placed my fabric, and that stitch is just 1/4 of an inch outside of the batting, and our fabric is much larger, so I'm also going to use my down arrow to skip that as well. Now I will do the tack down of the fabric and then run the background quilting. So after I ran the placement line for the banner, I placed the felt and I placed it sideways to save, and you can see how much I'm able to save. So once I trim this, I will just put this with my stash of extra embellishments. However, you could just put this sideways and use the whole piece of felt. Another thing that I just did was to add in a black bobbin. The only thing I have left to do is the words, and although you don't need to change the bobbin to match the dark shadow thread, I have a lot of black bobbins that came with a set of pre-wound bobbins, and so that's when I use them, when I have text in a dark color. Also, I want to note that the text is the last step, and they don't go over any of the outlines, and so the directions at this point say to trim this piece of felt. This is a raw edge applique. However, I am going to wait until this is completely out of the hoop. I feel that I can have a little bit more control and I'm more likely to get better results, and so I'm going to go ahead and stitch the words, and then when I take this out of the hoop, I will trim the felt. After trimming the felt, I removed the basting and then pressed the block, and now I'm ready to cut it to size. This is a background quilting that does not go into the seam allowance, and so I am going to trim my stabilizer, which is my muslin, right next to the batting. So I will trim that and then cut the block to size.